topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to Mindset Marketing Mastery, the show that brings you the top speakers in the marketing and video industry. With your host, Marie Mason.
Hi, and welcome to the Liberty Virtual Solutions. We present our podcast series called Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show, and I'm your host, Marie Mason. And joining me today to welcome my lovely and talented co-host, Sheryl Bernstein. Say hi, Sheryl.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Of course.
We're excited, aren't we? We have a great guest today. Yeah, yes. Of course, we're excited every week. But anyway, because we get to work with each other. That's one of the reasons why I'm always excited. But today we have another amazing show for you. It's a fantastic speaker who is going to share with us on our show about his topic, which is sorry, that's the wrong topic. That's from a different place. I really need to remember to keep track of things better. Sorry about that. He's going to be talking about what's on your bucket list. Oh my gosh. Do you have a bucket list, Sheryl? I'm going to ask.
I do not have a bucket list. I kind of just do everything I want to do.
I know. I do a lot of things on what I want to do, but I don't always have, like with COVID is keeping us from travel. So my biggest bucket list right now, and it's been on my list for like 30 years, is going to guess
30
where?
Years. 30 years.
Australia.
Australia.
Yes, I want to go hug a koala bear. That's why I have a little stuffed animal to remind me what I want. And then I want to hop around kangaroos if they'll let me, because I hear they're not always friendly.
Well,
so, it is the way it is. And then I have people I want to meet out there. There's like my web developer who's a good friend and several others I've met online that I'm like, I really just want to go meet you in person one day, because it's like you connect with people. Like I want to go meet you in California, for example, That's my bucket list right now. It's a lot of travel.
A lot of travel. Okay. Very good.
Yeah, that's my bucket list. So we have an
amazing we might find
stuff.
out some interesting things about bucket list and what it means and how to create one and how to think of things that we may not be thinking of. So that'll be interesting to find out. Yeah.
You're right, because we're all trying to redefine things and how we view things and how we do our goals, and this is perfect for that. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, this is like a great way to start the January.
Well, very fun topic, right?
Oh yeah, love it. Goal setting is my favorite thing. That's my hot button. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, setting goals.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, goal setting and just kind of like creating a vision for yourself. Creating that goals and stuff. I'm a creative, as I'm a creative person, so are you, because you're the creative muse.
That's
and
right.
So we had that in common. So it's good to have that
ability,
focus, ability to be creative and just kind of, plan ahead. And I'm a planner too. So that goes hand in hand. So it really goes well together. But oh my gosh, I have something really cool to share with you. I shared it last week. I'm going to share it again this week because I'm launching something new. And do you want to go ahead and kind of help me walk through this one so we can kind of work this one together?
What do you want me to do?
Well, this month we're going to be promoting some different ways where you could get support for your business. And one of the ways, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I don't know, I have a coach, Vet 2, and I find Vet 3 really for different purposes. But wouldn't you find that finding a coach that aligns with your values is the best investment for your business? Wouldn't you agree with that?
You have to work with somebody that really fits. It's like dating that, there's an old saying that there's a lid for every pot. There's somebody for everybody, and every coach is not for every client. There's going to be somebody that you're going to fit perfectly with as a client and as a coach. And when you feel the difference, it's astounding.
It is. That's exactly what I was thinking too. And believe me, there are times where I'm like, I so want to work with Sheryl too, and someday we will be working together on a regular basis too.
Well, we're working together now.
Well, yeah, we're just doing it in a different avenue. That's all. That's all. So that's why I
So
like having you on the show. So, but
thank
there's some
you.
questions that I think would be good to answer. So I don't know if you would like to go ahead and roll with the questions for
I'll
me.
ask you the questions and you give me the answers.
Sounds good. We'll make
So,
this quick and snappy.
so let me ask you, tell me what you do. How do you help businesses and business leaders as a strategy coach? What is that?
Gotcha. Well, as a business strategy coach, I help business leaders change their thought process and business strategy so that we can help them achieve better results with their business performance.
And
Who doesn't
so,
need that?
yeah, who doesn't everybody want that? And who is that for? Who should be looking for this kind of a thing?
Well, they need to be, I think the people that would benefit the best from it are I basically offer coaching and support to heart-centered solopreneurs, freelancers, and business leaders who want to grow their business and feel stuck without a strategy to grow their team. Because a lot of them don't know what to do with growing their business, like providing support for onboarding someone who's going to be like a freelancer to help them, like a virtual assistant. They don't know the first thing to do, the onboarding process. And that's where we come in and help. So,
Yeah, I think you might want to explain what onboarding is. I
oh,
don't think
good.
everybody really knows what that means.
Well, it's part of the hiring process. So when you do start with the hiring, and then you go into an onboarding process. Like I just onboarded somebody on my team to help me with sales and closing. So I had to sit there and give him like the policies and procedures and what we do and fill them in. And then you have a training section. So today we went and did a training session with them, and then he's gonna shadow me on a couple of calls because he's gonna help me with closing the sales. So he needs to know how I operate. We need to get on the same page, you have to calibrate, right? So they have to know what you do so they can implement what you want them to do. And you have to give them clear instructions in the process. So that's what it is. And the onboarding process is just one piece of it. So that
I
really
was just
helps you
going to
with the
ask that.
policies and yeah, it's only one piece of it. So it's all about the process and the procedures and what it is that you do and what is your expectations and all that for the role and your vision for the company. It's the bare basics, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what would they get? What can someone expect out of working with you? What might they have at the end of working with you that they didn't before they started?
Okay. So by working with me, basically you're going to be overcome the fear of failure and procrastination. I'm guilty,
Procrastination. Big, so many
especially in
people just
procrastination.
they're afraid that something's not going to work or they're not going to know how, so they don't begin. And if you don't
Exactly.
begin, nothing's going to happen.
It took me 3
So
years to launch my coaching business because I was afraid that no one was gonna want it, and that's that ping pong thing, and we help people clear up that cobwebs, clear up the cobwebs and clear up their confusion on those kinds of issues and stuff like that. I mean, we really get to give people a lot of clarity about their business strategy also and help them reach the next level of their business, because they might be on the ground zero and wanting to go the next step, or they might be at ground in the middle of the business and wanting to propel it forward. They might be at the advanced and just need a little bit of, fine tuning. And maybe sometimes it just needs a few tweaks. But wherever they're at, we meet them where they're at. I went a little longer on that, didn't mean to, but that sort of helps clears that up hopefully a little bit.
if I can just capsulize,
Sure.
what's wonderful as an entrepreneur, especially a solopreneur, is to have support, to have somebody to say, this is what you do next, because often we don't know, well, what do I do?
Right.
So often I hear from coaches and entrepreneurs, they get up in the morning and they're like, I don't know what to do.
Yep.
Somebody like you would absolutely have them know what to do, and that you would be sort of the wind at their back to make sure they do it, to
Exactly.
guide them, support them, tell them what to do, and help them get to where they want to go. That's right.
Precisely. Yep. You nailed it.
All right. And they can go to your website. Will there be a link on here where somebody will be able to get it? Because us saying it doesn't often, somebody can't capture the link.
Right.
I see that. Is there going to be on here on the page
It
somewhere?
probably is not gonna be on there because I forgot to send that in, and I'm sorry.
Oh,
I've
okay.
I've been behind schedule on getting that stuff out to our, radio station, so I'll get better at doing that for future references. But, just letting you know real quick, we have a really supportive, heart-centered group of freelancers already and business owners that provide people with feedback and insights to their business, and we have a new session starting tomorrow, Friday the 15th. Oh my gosh, can't believe it's already the middle of
Friday's
January.
the 15th?
I know, hard to believe. Middle of January already. It's only the first 15 days of 2021.
I can't even believe we're in, 2000s.
I know, seriously. Where did 1900s go? I don't know. But anyway, you blink and it goes fast. But
Yeah.
the long story short is it's from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock Eastern, and they get a quick summary of things that we're reviewing. They get some feedback on anything that they want to talk about. And oh my gosh, we do a lot of fun things. And I want to be able to bring up our speakers. So let me give you the
Now,
website.
wait a minute. What is that you're doing? You're having a session tomorrow?
Yeah, we're having our first
Okay.
training session tomorrow, so for
Oh,
anyone who
great.
wants to try it out, oh
Oh,
my
they get to
gosh,
go for free?
they get 1 free visit.
Visit?
They get to try 1 free,
Oh, that's
thing
very cool.
by mentioning my show. If they mention the Marketing Mindset Mastery Show, if I can slow down to speak clearly, that would be clear, that would be better. I get excited, I go fast. So
Okay.
that's the key thing. If they mention my show, they get 1 free session, and then after that, that would be like a free trial kind of thing for 1 show, 1 event, and then after that, they can decide whether or not they wanna continue it, and then here is if they wanna just go ahead and pay for it, we're offering a special right now this month only for $370 for a year, and they get 2 months free. So
That's
they can even
great
pay
for
it now and get 2 months free
a
anyway.
whole year, a whole
Yeah,
year.
and
That's
if they
great.
wa that's really good, I think, and it's worth a lot more. In fact, I'll
Yeah.
be raising it the next season. But anyway, it's at https forward slash sorry, colon forward slash payhip.com, and I did not generate this link, but it's forward slash B forward slash HKM9 with capital HKM. So, yeah, you might have to repeat that
I
because
wonder
I
if I
think
can put this will people see this if I put this in the chat? No, this is private
no,
chat.
this is private, so they won't be able to see it. We will be posting it on social media, so they can go ahead and take a peek at it. But we need to bring up our guests because I
Yes,
don't wanna yeah,
let's.
yeah, so go ahead, Cheryl, I'm
Let's
gonna let you go
do.
ahead and bring him up.
All right. Well, welcome to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with Marie Mason. And I'm Sheryl Bernstein. And today's guest is Trav Bell. What a great name, Trav.
Mhm.
He's the author of the best-selling book, The My Bucket List Blueprint. Oh, say that 5 times fast. The My Bucket List Blueprint. And he's a TEDx Thought Leader. Oh, I love that. I love TEDx Talks.
Me
A
too.
certified speaking professional, and he's the founder and CEO of Bucket List Coaches. His unique life engagement message really wakes you up and helps you to experience more fulfillment in your life. So make sure you listen to us on W4CY Radio every Thursday at 6 p.m. ET this time. And today's topic, what is on your bucket list? Welcome, Trav, to the show.
Trav, are you here?
Hello, Marie,
Hey,
Cheryl.
how
It's
are
great to be
you?
on.
Yeah, it's great to
Very
have
good.
you here. Yeah. So welcome. Did you like koala bear I showed earlier?
I know. We literally, yeah. I don't know what's with Americans and wanting to hold a koala bear. We've got you got this like deep obsession, and
Teddy bear. It's the
They're
yeah,
teddy
cute,
bear. The
cuddly.
teddy
They look
bear.
cute, cuddly.
they
Teddy
are.
bear,
Look, they are. Yeah, and we've literally got kangaroos. Like I went riding this morning, and we have to literally, and this is not me just making this up. We literally have got kangaroos on our track, like bouncing around all the time. Where we bike ride as a group every single morning. There's kangaroos
Yeah,
everywhere.
because you're actually in Australia, aren't you?
I am Australian. Yes, mate.
Yep. That's what we said. I had to bring up the kangaroo. That's why I had to bring the kangaroos.
So I'm in a place called Ocean Grove, which is on the southern part of Australia, and it's in a state of Australia called Victoria. So I'm about an hour and a half out of Melbourne, on where the Great Ocean Road starts, if that's of any reference. Yeah, but it's down the southern part of Australia, Melbourne.
Yeah, my friend, good friend and web developer, his name is, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank, Mark Hunter. I had to think about that for a second. But he's over in the Brisbane area over in Queensland. So he's not that, he's like on this side, the east side of, like, I'm on the east coast of the US. He's on the east.
He's on the east, northeast.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to make sure so that Sheryl.
And just to pick you up on some of that Australian, it's Brisbane.
Brisbane, okay.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he doesn't correct me.
We Americans, we have a love affair with the Australian sound, your sound. We have a love affair with that. It's just so cool. It's English with a little wing.
I don't know, mate. What was it, Hugh Jackman, or who really put us on the map over there? I don't know. Russell.
I want to say it was
him and
Paul back in the day when we put another shrimp on the barbie.
Yes,
like that.
Yes, that was it.
No one actually puts shrimps on barbies over here. You know that.
Oh,
and we don't actually call it a shrimp.
And then who's the country western singer married to Nicole?
Keith Urban.
Keith Urban, another one. There are a couple.
There you go.
There's
a few of us.
Yeah. We love it. This is such an interesting thing, Trav, the bucket list.
Yes, we get to tell us a little bit about what the bucket list is.
How did you come to that? How did you?
Look, someone. Fun fact: someone actually called me the bucket list guy about 10 years ago. So I've been running around the world as the bucket list guy. And Marie, you'd appreciate this from a marketing point of view. I've so rather than just be Trav Bell. That's all well and good, but no one really knows who I am. But when I can go into a room and people go, because I used to have when I turned 40, I actually had a mohawk for 5 years.
I saw that.
That was my FU 40 haircut, if you know what I mean. And it was, but people recognise me more as the bucket list guy than my actual name. Sometimes at networking and different conferences and stuff like that. But no, I've been the bucket list guy for about 10 years. Someone called me that after the first seminar that I put on. Backstory, I was in the personal fitness training industry for over 20 years. And I started in personal training back in the early 90s when there wasn't this really big industry. I started with one client. I've always been self-employed, always been an entrepreneur. I probably don't take other people being my boss. I don't listen too well. So I've always been an entrepreneur, always run by my own rules. But it was my first business was in personal training. Grew it from one client to I was the first to franchise personal training studios around Australia. Tens of thousands of clients later. 20 years later, over 2 million personal training sessions. Went through life got on top of me. A few toxic people in my life, and I'm sure that everyone's got a similar story of breakdown before breakthrough. I went through a bout of depression, albeit quite mild compared to what I've heard. And instead of going on heavy antidepressants, which they're more than willing to give away, I wanted to get to the root cause of the psychology of the stuff that I was going through. So I found myself in life coaching courses, learning NLP, learning Akagi principle, positive psychology, all this stuff, law of attraction. And it was actually in one of these courses that a friend of mine said, hey, why don't you teach this stuff? So I summed up the courage, worked through a lot of my own stuff, put on a talk 10 years ago. And then at the end of it, I started sharing my list to do before I die with the group, of which I nearly had to pay to come to my first seminar. And it was crap compared to what I do now. But a lot of people didn't know this about me, that I had a written down list to do before I die since I was 18. And I started sharing the fact that I had one. I said, who else has got one of these lists? And people were like, no, I was the only freak in the room. So I started sharing some of the things that I'd done and my reason why for getting out of bed in the morning, my reason why I make decisions, why I've grown businesses fast, etc. Because it's been my tangible life plan. And it inspired the group. And then Joe, one of the participants there, said, "Hey, how's all this list to do before you die stuff? It's like a bucket list. You're like the bucket list guy." And I went, ping, light bulb moment. And I went home and registered thebucketlistguy.com. When I was on the Google machine too, Marie, you'd appreciate this from a marketing point of view. I was like, all right, who's like the Mac Daddy? Who's like the king of bucket lists in the world? Oh, look, no one. So I literally called myself the world's #1 bucket list expert.
Cool.
Because no one else was doing it.
And it's stuck ever since. That's
and
awesome.
Here I am.
Yeah, it's amazing those humble beginnings, right, Sheryl?
You know what I'm dying to know?
What's
on your bucket list?
Yes.
What's on my bucket list?
Yes.
What was on? Let's say, what was on your bucket list that you did last year that you crossed off?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, and we'll get to this later, but I've been writing this book for probably 10 years since I've been the bucket list guy. So I actually, because of lockdowns, thanks to COVID, I actually got it done.
Oh, awesome.
But you'd think, all right, it took you 10 years to do it, Trav. Yeah, it was a complete battle in procrastination and perfectionism. And you'd reckon it'd be a little bit thicker, wouldn't you? but I got that done. It was a big one. And, but, because bucket list isn't just about travel. And I heard you mention that in the preview, the My Bucket List Blueprint that I did the TED Talk on, that I unpacked during the TED Talk that I wrote about in this book, is really about helping people look more broadly around this whole bucket list concept. It's not just about travel. In fact, in there, I go through the My Bucket List Blueprint, which is a 12-letter acronym, a 12-step system. Sounds a little bit like AA. But at the end of the day, travel is only one of those 12 categories that I help people unpack. So it makes it a really, it helps people sort of go north, south, east, west in their own brain, and it helps them extract and articulate a very personal and a holistic list. And, for this, it has helped a lot of people over the years. I've been talking about the same thing for 10 years. It's really helped people, really get off the treadmill of life, stop just existing and not living, stop living by default, living by design. We know that people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80.
I know.
It's crazy. And I do this because not just to tick a whole bunch of cool stuff off. It's not really about that. A lot of this is focused on positive psychology, right? But positive psychology is really the science of it's the psychology of happiness, right? It's all about helping people experience more meaning, more purpose, and more fulfillment in their life, and more gratitude in their life. That's one of the pillars of positive psych. And positive psych is all about performance psychology, not about regressive psychology of helping people be normal. All right. So helping people be who the hell wants to be normal? Right? People want
I learned a long time ago. I don't follow the average. I don't consider myself normal. So.
We're not normal. No. Yeah. And who the hell wants to be? Why live a vanilla life?
Exactly.
So there's a lot of, the statistics don't lie. And this is my little bit of trying to combat or challenge the statistics. That right now we know that depression is going through the roof, anxiety, the overprescription of antidepressants, youth suicides. We've even got this thing you might be familiar with called the loneliness epidemic now. That's the adverse effect of social media. It's a huge, huge issue. 89% of people who go to work every day in America are what they call disengaged. So what that means is 89% of people who just go and get the paycheck and come home, and they're not really into what they're doing. Right. It's pretty sad, and then you throw bloody COVID on top of this. Yeah, we're in a bad way. So I'm trying to change the narrative as good as I can through this stuff. And again, I've got 10 years of history of doing it, and the light has literally gone on for a lot of people getting off medication, getting off suicide watch, etc. Might have been just right place at the right time, but whatever it is, it's really, really rewarding. Whether you write a book, someone reads a book, or you do a speech from stage at a conference, you're always going to get those people that go, I just had to hear that today. Thank you for giving me permission to dream again.
That's awesome.
So it's not, if I understand you correctly, it's not just, I want to do this, I want to do this. It's you really helping somebody put an awareness on what maybe they didn't even realize that would make a fulfilling life for them, and to live it as more opening, more.
Well, it's not about, like I said, so check this out. So it's not about just ticking a whole bunch of cool stuff off or checking a whole bunch of cool stuff off a list, right? Yeah. It's really about how a person, how we reverse engineer every aspect of our lives in order to make this stuff come to fruition. It's the growth of us on this journey towards these self-imposed destinations. But more importantly, it's about the us, the you, the bigger version of you that exists on the other side. And that's the person that we do not know yet.
Gotcha.
The other side,
that's called our potential.
We're going to have
a lot of people give up on that.
I hate to interrupt. We're going to have to go to a commercial break, but when we come back, I want you to finish that thought up as real quick. So hold that thought. So I want to thank Trav Bell for sharing his valuable tips and helping us grow their business in the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show, especially about his topic about what's on your bucket list. And we're going to be talking more about that. And you can also, join us in the second segment. We'll be right back after this commercial. So until next time, or until the next segment. I am really messing this up, Sheryl. Can you help me with this?
This ends this segment of our show. You're listening to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with your host, Marie Mason. And I am her co-host, Sheryl Bernstein. We are with Trav Bell, who is talking about your bucket list, which is more than what you think. And we will be right back. We're going to a commercial break now.
We're taking a short break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Marketing Mindset Mastery, the show that brings you the top speakers in the marketing and video industry, with your host, Marie Mason. The show is brought to you by Liberty Virtual Solutions. We work with business coaches and speakers to help them market and host their webinars and upsell their coaching programs and develop heart-centered relationships with their audience. Welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Show with your host, Marie Mason, a premier podcast that helps you master your marketing skills.
Hi, and welcome back to the Marketing Mindset Mastery Radio Show with your host, Marie Mason, and co-host Sheryl Bernstein. And our Sheryl, you still here?
I'm sorry, what here?
You're still here. We're coming back.
Yes, we are.
And today's guest is Trav Bell, the author of the best-selling book, My Bucket List from Blueprint, and is a thought leader, a certified professional speaker, and also is the founder, CEO of Bucket List Coaches, and his unique life engagement message really wakes you up and helps you experience more fulfillment. And his topic today is what's on your bucket list. So without further ado, let's bring up Trav Bell and have him finish his thought on something that we were talking about. Maybe you can help us jog a memory, Sheryl, about what that was.
Well, we were talking about that your bucket list isn't just a bunch of things to check off. It's a much deeper thing that Trav is going to talk about. And you said something about it's the us on the other side. Can you explain?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's all about helping people experience more of their own potential, right? Because on the other side of your bucket list is a you that you do not know yet, your bigger version of you. And the Dalai Lama says, he didn't say this bit, but I'm saying this bit. Dalai said something else. But when we experience more of our own potential, it is like growth, human growth, our own personal growth is a human need, right? Anthony Robbins talks about it all the time. If we're not growing, we're dying. Simple as that. So if we're not exposing ourselves to different situations and circumstances and experiences, what's the use? So it encourages people to step outside their comfort zone. It encourages people to seek discomfort to a certain extent, to get curious, to say yes, and that helps you experience more of your own potential. You don't know what's on the other side of your bucket list until you try. So, but when you experience more of your own potential, it puts a smile on your face. It makes you happy. So at the end of the day, the Dalai Lama did say, happiness is the meaning of life. That's why we do everything. So this is our little way. This is the little perspective or the lens, the theme that I like to run these positive psychology principles through, this filter of bucket list. And obviously for the last 10 years, it's helped a whole bunch of people all around the world. And now we've scaled it out and we've got certified bucket list coaches teaching this stuff in 22 countries as well. So it's translated into we've got bucket list coaches in places around the world, but if you actually translate the word bucket list, it makes no freaking sense at all.
So could somebody go through your program and then if they want to be a bucket list coach, there's an opportunity for that as well?
Yeah. No, we have hundreds of coaches, Marie. We have but they're in 22 countries.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Great.
I got that mixed up a little bit. Sorry.
Yeah, we even had bucket list coaches in Vietnam. It's super weird to hear all my stuff translated in Vietnamese.
I can imagine. Yeah. So hear that at the end of the table. So do you have any questions for him, Sheryl?
I do. What would somebody be experiencing in their life right now, or how would they be feeling that, reading your book is going to really help them and impact them and help them change wherever they are?
Okay, so I can't, but as a coach, there's two different things between a consultant and a coach, right? A consultant, like a personal trainer, it just tells you exactly what to do. If you want to go from here to here, this is exactly what you're going to do. These are the steps. I'm sure, Marie, you do that in marketing. Mm-hmm. But as a coach, what we're going to do is discover. We're going to, through interview. We're asking questions. We're going to discover. Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? Have you got meaning or purpose in your life? And if it's no, well then take a look at this. It's not up to me to assume that you are unhappy. All right. So you're the one who realizes whether there's a gap or not. It's the last thing you want to do as a coach is overlay or map my model of the world and say my model of the world is better than yours, and you need to, you must, you have to, do this, and this, and this. Well, you're going to be like, well, stuff you don't know me. You don't know my situation. So people need to check in and calibrate, and that's what a lot of people are doing right now through lockdowns and stuff. They're recalibrating on their happiness. They're recalibrating on whether I am finding meaning and purpose maybe in my job or in my life or in my business at the moment. So people have, through this have taken a big collective deep breath in because the world has kind of stopped. And there is a lot of this recalibration and innovation and adaptation, kind of going on, which is really cool. But, people have to realize, my stuff's not for everyone. I'm not going to assume that. But if it is, if any of this sort of stuff resonates with you and like, you know what, I'm on the treadmill. I'm a little bit, uninspired at the moment. I do need to start thinking about this whole life plan thing, because I say a bucket list is a tangible life plan, where our career plan or our business plan should fit into our life plan, not be the other way around. And see, I want to wake people up before they get given a use-by date. Yeah. See, the crappy thing is, right, we all know people who have been diagnosed or die from cancer. We all do, right? In that TED talk that I did, I had 2,000 people in front of me doing that, and 2,000 people in that audience. right? And in that audience, I asked 3 questions. Firstly, I put a grid of 80 squares up on the board there for everyone to look at, and I said, all right, 80 squares is on average how long we live. All right, cross out the ones that you've been alive. So if you're 40, if you're 50, all right, half of them, a few more are gone. All right, now look at that grid of 80 squares, and people are starting to go, oh, well, shit, okay, getting a bit uncomfortable. So I'm not a motivational speaker. I just talk, very bluntly. It probably doesn't always serve me well, but stuff it. That's 20 years of personal training, I guess. Is just talk reality. In that talk and in the keynotes that I do present, I then ask 3 questions, looking at those squares and how many you've lived and how many you've got left statistically. I say, okay, how many of us know people have been diagnosed or died from cancer? You can imagine, 2,000 people, everyone's just put up their hand going, yeah, I know a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Second question I ask is, how many people do you know have been diagnosed or died from cancer? All right, show of fingers. And if you just think about it now, and if the listeners and watchers think about this right now, you can start to think, all right, well, in my circle of influence, I know, all right, we've got 1, 2, whatever it is. Imagine 2,000 people holding up from 5 to 10 fingers each.
Yep. So we'll do all
okay. So there you go, Marie. So in answering that question, what about you, Sheryl? How many
sure.
people?
I
it's
don't
crazy,
know.
isn't it?
I'm sure it's probably that or more. I'm sure.
People hold up toes sometimes.
Yeah.
So
I don't think I want to do that on the air.
and then I ask, and this is not to bring the mood down, but it's designed to get people thinking. If we're going to add value to people's life, we've got to disrupt to a certain extent to then take action. The third question I ask is, how many of those people that you should just put up your fingers, how many of them made their 80 squares, made their 80 years?
Oh, 1, 2. 2.
Marie?
Probably maybe 3 tops.
All right. Now, I've been doing that all around the world, and I've spoken on every continent except for Antarctica. I'm still waiting for that gig down in Antarctica. The point being that I go into places like I've done presentations in Cambodia and Vietnam, these sorts of places, and in India, and I'm only giving them 65 to 70 squares, but it's the same result. It's frightening.
They have less squares than we do?
Yeah.
I wonder
their mortality rate, and in Africa, South Africa, it's about the same as well. So we get the privilege of we get them. But the cancer rates are still there. I'm only talking about cancer here. Now, I know people didn't get on this show to get depressed here.
No.
The point being that when is a good time to start seriously looking at this whole bucket list concept? We don't want to wait until we get a use by date, as I say.
Right.
But the thing is, we're so busy, aren't we? We're so busy, guys, on our daily to-do list within our businesses and within the vehicle of our job and this sort of, that we forget about our bucket list until it's too late. The movie, The Bucket List, had, Morgan Freeman.
Was that taken off after you?
And Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. That was
yeah. There you go. Now I don't know if I can say it's a shit movie, but it's a shit movie. Now you know what? And
we try not to say cuss words on here, but if you do, I mean, it happens. So
well, it's a not so good movie. There you go. Now why? Because it's about 2 blokes, as we call them here in Australia, about 2 blokes who get given a cancer diagnosis and then they write a bucket list. That's stupid, isn't it?
They should have done before then.
That's my whole mission, guys.
Well, they didn't know you yet.
Yeah,
they didn't. They didn't.
No.
So the point being is, I'm trying to wake people up before it's too late. Before they get given this use by date, and just that's why I wrote the book. Is it's designed for people to just hack into and write notes throughout, dog ear the thing. write out, use the skeleton of the My Bucket List Blueprint to actually get, remember these things?
Oh, those are fun pens.
Do you remember that? But a lot of millennials and Gen Ys and iGens probably won't recognize them. They're called pen. I know it's called a pen. People, I'm being sarcastic. It's called a pen, and this is designed to write down on this stuff called paper. I know it's a very foreign analog concept. The point being, if you actually just write stuff down, you got a 42 goals, let alone bucket list items. You got a 42% more likelihood of them actually manifesting.
That's true, isn't it?
Right. It is true. Yep. So you're halfway done. You might as well, I want you to separate your daily to-do list from your bucket list. Use the book, write it down, and better yet, when you've done it, I want you to send it to me via the link in the book. All right, I'm going to make you accountable. I guess 20 years as a personal trainer, I'm pretty good at keeping people accountable. And so I want all the watchers and listeners and you guys to send in your bucket list to me. And, that's how I know I've got, magical bucket list superpowers that get people off their butt and into action. And because,
where can they get the book?
They can go to thebucketlistguy.com, which is my website /book.
Great.
So, yeah, but it's helped so many people over the years, not just the book, but the philosophy, I guess. And, I'm really serious. I'm not just here to, flog a book or to be, I honestly want to help people. And people that know me know that, and it has helped for a lot of people over the years, and help them not just for them, but also for their families. So I've encouraged people to do family bucket lists, couples bucket lists, but most importantly, do one for yourself. So you can give yourself permission to put your own oxygen mask on first before you can help others.
Yeah, another bucket list I have is finishing. I wrote a book back in 1989 for college, and I'm on the final editing stages. And as soon as I get a couple of people lined up to help me finish the project, my goal is this year to get this published, and it's going to be a workbook, and it's going to be sent into classrooms and sent into people who are homeschooling, because it's working about learning disabilities. And oh my gosh, it was so prevalent for today. So that's another.
1980. Did you say 1989, Marie?
Yeah, 1989 is when I wrote it. So this is the year to get it done.
Did you say that last year too? Because that's what I've been saying for the last 10 years too with this.
That's 32 years.
Yes, it is. But you see, sometimes you have to have the right people in the right situations line up to get it published. Because sometimes it takes a while. Because this children's book is with pictures, and I'm not a talented at that department. So anyway, so you have to kind of find people to fill in the strengths for you. So that's the reason why. But we got about 3 minutes left. Oh my gosh, is there something you want to share with us? One more juicy tidbit.
Oh, look, I simply I don't want to confuse people too much, because I don't want to make life more busier than it has to be. But I desperately here's the deal. What's easy to do is easy not to do, right? Yeah. So I know that we've all got bucket lists, but we're swimming up there with your daily to-do list. And as soon as we get off this call, you're going to be back in. Everyone's going to be back into their daily to-do lists. Now that's how it works, because life just gets in the way. But it's not until people get a diagnosis then they go, oh, that's right, the bucket list there. Now that's important. Really? Well, now is the time to start writing your list, get it out of your head onto paper, send it to me. And at the end of the day, do it not just for yourself, but do it be the example for others to follow. And this will help you build your business faster. It has a direct ripple effect. If you're engaged in your bucket list, in your life plan, you'll be engaged in your business plan. It'll help you make decisions faster, hire quicker, scale up a hell of a lot quicker as well. Hire those people that you've been sitting on the fence hiring, getting the coaches around you to help you collapse those timeframes. Hurry up.
Awesome. Now, have you? What's the email that we can send that to?
Email. Just go to my email.
Well,
you want
book to get your.
Well, this
Well, they have to get the book, and when they get the book, then there's a link in there where you can send what you write down. There's
is
a
that
link
correct?
in the book.
Okay.
That is correct. Or they can just send it to trav@thebucketlistguy.com or DM me. I think that's what we say now. DM me on social media. They don't even say direct message, do we, anymore? That's pretty
I
sad.
know. We do all abbreviations. No, that is
But yeah,
fantastic.
they can connect with me on social media, but I'll put the link up just here to get the book,
Perfect.
and that's the best way forward.
Perfect.
And that's TravBell.com? No.
That is not. It's thebucketlistguy.com.
Bucket List Guy. How could I
They can
forget?
get it. They can get it from there.
Well,
Thebucketlistguy.com.
we actually have
book.
5 more minutes. So I was thinking that we were a little bit ahead of myself. I was really thinking I'm a little bit ahead of myself today. But anyway, but that's because I want to make sure we end on time and make sure we respect everyone's schedule, because I know it's really, really almost midday for you there, Trav, in Australia.
It is 10:45 on Friday morning here, and I'm from the future.
Yes,
You are
I'm
from the future.
It
Hey,
Yeah.
Trav, I'm wondering if there's a story that we can tell in these 5 minutes of somebody who through your work did something really kind of amazing with their
Honestly, I've got billions of them. I'll tell you a story, and this is what my talks are full of, just stories of what people have done as a result of this. And I guess I'll go to a story. This guy named Cam, he was 170 kilograms. Now, whatever that is in pounds, triple it.
I think it's
And
132.
big guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came to one of my early events. So I used to run an event called the Bucket List Experience, a 3-day personal development, full mindset kind of deal. And he was basically dragged there by his mate. And they sat at the back of the room, and Big Cam just sat there all day, for 3 days, basically going like this. Now, he was not into it. Now, Cam at the time was an alcoholic. He was on antidepressants. He smoked. He was not fit, obviously, and he wasn't in a good place. And he was a bikie, so he hung around with other bikers, etc., etc. Got to the end of the 3rd day, and I said, Cam, just do something for me. You've hung out this long, mate. Just do something for me. Because what I get people to do in the breaks is actually take action on their bucket list, book into something, pay for something, pay a deposit, launch something, make a commitment somehow. But just don't Google search anymore. It's done. Make a commitment. First steps. So people have been just hitting it all out of the park, and they've and Cam, he's like, right at the end, last break, he said, yeah, all right. I said, mate, just do it for me. You just make me happy, all right? Because everyone else has taken action. You've done nothing. All right. I'll pop out for a smoke and I'll do something. All right. So he went out, had his smoke. He came back in. He goes, all right, done. You happy? I said, all right, yeah, thanks, mate. What'd you do? He goes, oh, I entered it, and he had his mate just like, come on, Simon. Yeah, I done it. What'd you do, Cam? I entered a 5K run, a 5 kilometer fun run.
Awesome.
Wow, dude, there's something in you that made you, because it wasn't my suggestion, it wasn't Simon, but there's something in you that went for it. He said, yeah. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to call BS on it. Show me proof. Because you could just be saying stuff and to make me happy, but show me the proof. And he goes, all right, see, confirmation. Yep. See my emails. You happy now? I said, yep. Thanks.
So did you follow up with him, and did he actually do it?
So
I don't know. I'm curious.
Something happens when people commit. Right. So for Cam, he trained a little bit. He went, he did his first fight. He did this 5K run. I went there the day that he finished, and he did the run to the G. So he finished and he ran into the stadium that holds 110,000 people. Like, it's huge. Where we do our AFL grand finals. Anyway, he ran into the G, had his participation T-shirt, his medal and everything. He finished it. He was still big, still drank, blah, blah, blah. But he finished, and then something happened. He had his family who were all like, what the hell? What's he doing? All this is out of character. Anyway, on that day, he finished. He had a sense of accomplishment. He entered a 10K run after that on the day.
Wow.
Long story short, he finished a 10K run. This is months later, and then entered a half marathon on the day that he finished his 10K. On the day he finished his half marathon, he entered a full marathon. And the story goes, he finished his marathon, and then he entered his first triathlon. Then entered a half Ironman, and then entered the full Ironman.
Wow.
This is a journey over about 3 years.
Impressive.
He got off the antidepressants that he was on, out of drinking, non-smoker, started hanging around with fit people. His love life went through the roof. He's changed jobs. His income went up. His friendship circle was unbelievable. And this is all because he made a commitment to his bucket list. And now he's one of my, a close friend of mine. Unbelievable story and complete inspiration. I was there right at the end when he come through 15 minutes before cutoff time at his Ironman, and it was just an amazing story. And he's had a positive influence on everyone around him since.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Sheryl.
Very
That
cool.
was very positive. Sheryl, would you like to close out the show? We are at that time.
Yes, I will. I want to thank Trav Bell, our guest and the author of the My Bucket List Blueprint, the book you can get. And
there it is. I'll sign a copy for you.
Fabulous. Just go to thebucketlistguide.com/book and you can get yours. Thank you so much for sharing all that you have here, Trav. I'm sure that you've inspired and helped many people get off their butt. And this, until next time, this is Sheryl Bernstein with your host, Marie Mason. Join us again for our next episode for great tips, ideas, and how-tos to make your marketing and mindset work for you. We're here every Thursday live at 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on W4CY Radio. So, as I said, this is Sheryl Bernstein with your host, Marie Mason. We'll say goodbye for now from Marketing Mindset Mastery. And this ends this week's show. Bye-bye.
And don't forget to subscribe if you're on YouTube. Have a great day. See you next week.
Go to our radio page and check out the gifts from our speakers. We'll see you next time on Marketing Mindset Mastery with your host, Marie Mason.